everybody. Welcome back to the Autistic Voice Project. As always, I'm Matt, coming to you from Kentucky.
And I'm Erin, coming to you from Napa, California.
And today we have a special guest that was teased at in our last episode. This is Hunter Hammersen. And where are you coming from, Hunter?
I'm in Maine.
And you've been here before. What did we talk about before? I can't remember.
About Murderbot.
Murderbot. Yes. Oh God, I can't remember. I can't believe we forgot Murderbot. But your main thing is not just synths. What special thing do you do that makes the world around you just a little bit better?
I knit tiny nonsense.
Tiny nonsense.
I write knitting patterns, mostly for hideously impractical things. Occasionally for like borderline practical things. I will occasionally get you a sock or a hat or a pair of mitts. But these days, lately, I knit absurd little things that make people happy, that make me happy, that make the scary world feel a tiny bit less scary and a tiny bit more manageable, which I don't know, feels like it could use these days.
Can you show us an example of one of your tiny nonsense things that you
I have a bowl
knitted?
of acorns sitting here right now.
Acorns, knitted acorns.
I have a bowl of little knitted acorns for
That's
work.
awesome.
For work. I have, this falls into the ever so slightly more practical category. I have a rather fetching hat with, I don't know, I kind of like the top on that hat.
That is a snowflake, it looks like.
It is. I kind of think that's spiffy. To be fair, you knit the hat and then you embroider the snowflake. You do not knit that in.
That would be remarkable to knit that in.
You could. It would be. Damn it! Now I'm thinking about how you do that. You could.
Sorry.
Yeah, we make lives harder.
And now I might just. But I recommend embroidering it on there instead.
Certainly more achievable, especially for the novice.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, because in our last episode with Becca Laurie Hector, we were talking about self-care. We were talking about how to make life not just more manageable, but dare I say, happier. Because there's a lot of bizarre belief that we need to be millionaires in order to be quote unquote successful. Mm-hmm. But we talked about the process of becoming, the process of doing, and how these small things can add up to live an enriching life. Dare I say, a life full of nonsense might be a successful life. So what is it that you do? Because I know that you know a lot of autistic people who might be interested in this whole knitting thing, one of which may also be my co-host, Erin. And
that's right.
Why is this? Why do the people do the thing, even though the thing does not give you millions and millions of dollars? What up with that, yo?
So I think that knitting is really good for autistic brains. It does a bunch of things. So first, it's a stim. Like I am sitting here knitting as we're talking, which won't exactly.
As is Erin. Erin
yes,
just held it up.
So Matt,
watch us on YouTube to see all sorts of visual neat things that you can taste with your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm,
I just flashed you with my shawl that I'm working on.
Yep, I've got this is another one of these hats that I'm working on right now.
Nice.
I think it's good for us, and I think we like it because it's a stim. Like it's a thing I can sit here and do with my hands. And I swear it helps me concentrate. If you want me to sit still and look like I am paying attention, I will sit here and I will make correct eye contact, and I will, count and look away and or alternatively, instead of spending all of my Jesus Christ,
because this isn't creepy at all.
No, it's all look directly into the cameras.
You got the crazy eye going on there, Matt.
Yeah. This is me being holistic. Look at how normal I am.
I will correctly modulate my voice and my speech, and I will breathe at the right points in my sentences. I'm sure I could do that. That's my natural skill set right there.
But it sure shit takes some effort, doesn't it?
Yes. I can understand all of my attention trying to appear normal, trying to appear correct, or I can let my hands do the thing, and occasionally look, and then I will actually hear what you're saying, and I will actually process, and I will actually be involved in the conversation. I may not look like I am paying attention quite as successfully, but I promise, more of my brain is. So I think it's good for us like that. I think it's a good stim. I think it, I don't know, maybe one or two of y'all are also, good textures are good and bad textures are bad. And
Yes.
doing just one or two,
Yeah.
or two, not every single one of you, just one or two. Yeah,
Right.
knitting is nice because it lets you, depending on what you decide to knit, it lets you fill your life with things that are the good textures, with things that are like pleasing in a sensory way, which I don't know, I really, really, really like. It lets you have a social activity that you can connect with people on easily. And I will tell you this, not everybody at knitting group knows they're autistic, and certainly not everybody at knitting group is autistic, but it's a higher density of fellow same brain people than you get at the grocery store or in the bank. And one of the things I love about it is you can roll up to any knitting event and you have a built-in shared topic of conversation. I mean, this holds true whether you are going to the D&D night or, I don't know, fencing club or whatever it is your thing is. But it gives you an easy way to go, ooh, what are you making? Ooh, what's that yarn? Ooh, where's that cute bag from? And it's also completely socially acceptable within those circles to be like, counting, hold on. Like it is an easier set of social expectations for at least me, and I think a lot of people like us, to meet than, hello, I am going to go to the bar where it is loud and we can all talk about how much we like to drink alcohol. But no, I'd rather talk about what are you making? What are you making? Ooh, that looks soft. Ooh, what does that feel like? Yeah, so it gives us like an easy point of connection, and I think we all long for connection in a very visceral, very deep, very fundamental way. And it can be hard. Okay, it can be hard for us. We all know that. Please God, tell me I'm not the only one. I think we all know that.
Honestly, I think that from the old podcast, you have been possibly the most requested person to come back and see us here, because there are a lot of knitters out there who listen to us. Because, again, for all the reasons that you say, it's a stimmy thing. It's a sensory intense thing. It's enters a flow state. It allows you to socialize in socially acceptable ways with other people. And for instance, you recently met a young knitter and introduced them to the whole knitting thing, which is a very neat thing.
It was fantastic. I was at the fabric store, and there was a whole thing, and there was somebody there. And in the course of the conversation, it was clear that she was also. And at one point, she sticks her head around. I'm autistic. Like, me too. All my friends are too. All my favorite people are also. It's a great thing to be. And then I got to go like spend a little time being like, hey, you want to learn how to knit? You want to learn how to knit? I'm not quite sure we've made her into a knitter yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it. It is so much fun to make new knitters. It is so much fun to make new knitters. And then like the other thing that I really love about it, and this isn't going to be everybody's experience with it, and you definitely don't have to do this, but I turned it into my job. Because I think that when, we're going to put the disclaimer here about like, not every person is capable of or wants to or should have to work. But I think that autistic people...
We talked about that in the previous episode, yes.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I think that autistic people are more likely to do well in a working situation if what they are doing is playing with their special interest. If you told me I had to go in my previous life, I was like, oh yeah, I did like tech support. I helped. Oh no, and in the iteration of my life before I realized I'm gonna write knitting patterns, I was a grad student. I was gonna go be a history professor. Do you know what you have to do if you're a history professor? You have to show up at 8:30 in the morning and teach a room full of freshmen who don't want to be there.
Oh my.
What I do is I'm like, ooh, I bet I could knit an acorn. I bet I could knit. Oh, yeah. Turns out I could. Ooh, I bet I could tell people how to do that. Yep, I could do that too. I could do that. And being autistic makes me so much better at what I do. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Because I'm really good at taking a thing that has a lot of steps and breaking it down into little pieces. Like, no, I can walk walk you through the steps. No one step is particularly challenging. The whole thing, it may look scary to go from ball of yarn to this, but you don't have to get there in one step. I will break it down for you. We will do this piece by piece by piece. I will show you how to do every little step of it.
This is the thing called process complexity, and it's part of our executive functioning. So tell us about the breaking it down piece by piece instead of saying, all right, step 1, knit a hat.
Right. Step 1, start and be done. No. Step 1 is, all right, let's think about what yarn you want to use. Okay, let's figure out how big you want that hat to be, because you know what? There's such a thing as hats that are too big and hats that are too small. Let's do that. Okay, now step 2 is, how are we going to get that yarn on those needles? Because there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. They all serve different functions. Let's talk about, and I love it because sometimes it's like, all right, I want you to do this. And sometimes it's like, I don't actually care what you use as long as it meets these criteria. And sometimes it's, no, I really do need you to do this specific one this time. I know, God, I'm very autistic, okay, people? I just really, I apologize. No, this is the space where I'm not apologizing for this.
Do not apologize.
No.
Be
It's in the
you.
name of the podcast.
It is a disclaimer.
Be your
Anybody
loud and
who's
proud
here,
self.
Anybody who's here has signed up for this. Anybody who's here has
That's
consented
right.
to
And
the
if
very
they
autistic.
stumbled onto here, they get what they get.
If you are still sticking around at this point, you deserve what you
That's
get.
right.
Okay.
You get what you get.
So, I have this thing where sometimes when I'm reading instructions and it says do this, and I'm like, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Oh my
Do I
God!
have to?
Yes, the why.
Do I have to? What if I don't? What happens if I don't? You said to use a 10-inch saucepan. What happens if I don't? Is the house going to burn down? Probably not. Why? And so I try, and I'm doing this more and more over time, to be like, okay, hi. I reckon sometimes you want a cast on that's stretchy, and sometimes you don't. Like, hi, you want to use a stretchy cast on for this. I use one of these two. You can use whatever you like as long as it's stretchy. Or sometimes it's like, oh, cool, so you need to cast on something that'll let you work stitches in both directions. I like to use, but I will tell you why. And it just feels so much more accommodating. It feels so much friendlier to be like, I'm not just telling you to do it because I feel like telling you what to do. Like, this is the goal that you need to accomplish. Here is how I recommend you accomplish it. If you have a different way of accomplishing that same set of goals that works for you, carry on.
Go for it.
Have fun. Go for it. Yeah.
It's almost as if you know your audience.
The running joke is if you like me, if you don't find me annoying, and instead you're like, oh yeah, no, I like the way you explain things. That works for my brain. This hasn't been widely studied, but so far my experience has been that that's a pretty good indicator that we might have same brain.
Yeah, that's called peer review.
Yeah.
It's a valid part of the self-identification process.
The number of times that people have either come up to me and gone, I think I might be autistic. I'm like, do you like me? There's a pretty good chance if I like you back, then definitely. And every now and then I'll get somebody who's like going, I wonder if you know that you might be autistic. I'm like, oh yes, I do. Yes,
I am well aware.
I do.
In fact,
I need to say this more often. And I've started saying it more often. Like, I've started being more outspoken about it.
And you were also late identified, correct?
Yes. Oh gosh, I am. So because of when I first found out about this, the first term that I found that I felt like applied to myself was Asperger's. We don't use that filthy Nazi's name for all of my lovely autistic friends. This is how I explain this these days. Like, ooh, you're not a bad person if that is the word that you got first, but please don't call my favorite people in the world by that filthy Nazi's name. We don't do that. So that is the word that I had for myself first. And that was maybe 2014, 2015-ish. And at that point in time, the way I thought about it was, well, that's just one more character flaw that I must work very hard to overcome so that I don't bother anyone else with this. Okay, I don't think that way anymore, friend. I don't think
Okay,
that
good.
Tell us about that evolution, because again, our previous episode was with Becca Laurie Hector, talking about how to accommodate yourself, how to overcome the ableism, how to overcome disableism. Tell us
Yes.
about your journey about all this and why the knitting is a thing that you use to unite us. Which is a great metaphor, because you have a whole bunch of disparate strands built together to make something neat. I like that. Please tell us.
It ties us together.
I was I got an ADHD diagnosis in end of high school, and the vibe around it at the time was very much, well, it just means you need to try harder to be normal. Because by God, you will succeed at being normal. You will get the good grades. You will get the good scholarship. You will go to the good college. You will just push harder. And I bought into that for a long time because, again, with the ableism and again with the bullshit. And over time came to be like, perhaps the way my brain works is actually okay. Perhaps the way my brain works is actually kind of neat. But then the autism thing came along and revealed itself. And again, it was like, oh, well, that must mean I'm cold and bad at people. I will try harder. I will try harder. I will normal harder. I will suffer more. I will suffer more so as to not inconvenience others. That didn't work really well. It does that works for some people for a little while. I tried so hard. I tried so hard. And then I burned out. As you will all do. If any of you are hearing me and you are currently still in the I will just try harder, I will normal better phase of things, I invite you to set that down to the extent that you can. Because your life will get so much better, I promise. You will like yourself more. You will find more friends because you will actually be being you. Yeah. And so the people who like you as you actually are will find you, and they will be able to see you to like you.
And this is one of the big things that autistic people often have problems with, because it's hard to find friends, especially as an autistic adult.
Oh God!
And the belief that if we just conform, people will like us is a very flawed concept.
Yes, because you don't want everybody to like you. Okay, you don't want
Tell
everybody
us about
to like
that, because that's not what the normies say, because they say popularity and being as digestible as possible is what it's all about.
This is not an option for us. This is not
that witch movie sings about it.
It's not an option for them either, though.
No,
yeah.
We are not.
What about that witch who sings about the popular? What about that? Is she wrong? I didn't see the rest of the movie.
No. Yeah, it's I don't know if she's wrong, but I know that the trying to appeal to everyone is extremely overrated. I don't want to be like I don't know, a loaf of sliced white bread. I want to be like I want to be like garlic bread with extra cheese. Ooh. Okay, I want to be like okay. Most like maybe a lot of people are like not my thing. But the people who do like me really, really, really like me. And that is so much more powerful. That is so much safer. That is so much more connection. That is so much more community. That is so much more being seen and known and liked for who you actually are is really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, because I mean, if in a pinch I was presented with some white bread and a Pepsi, I wouldn't turn it down. But if I got a Mexican Coke and some garlic bread, I'm all about that.
Yes.
No, that is the beginning of a great meal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, can I have some really, really spicy marinara sauce to dip all this into, please?
You're welcome to.
But just the thing where anything that everybody likes is boring. I'm sorry. It is. Anything that everybody likes is boring. Be the thing that people have strong opinions about. It is a faster sorting mechanism. And that is how I have come to think of like being just obnoxiously autistic out in the world. I call it autism sparkling. Okay. I move through the world, and whenever possible, which means like with the grocery store checkout person, with the kid in the fabric shop, with the teller at the bank, just be one step weirder than the situation would seem to want you to be. And one of two things will happen. Either it will be a very slightly weird, very brief interaction, and there will be no bad consequences, or the other person will be like, ooh, tell me more. I want more. Like, yes, I do want to know more. And finding those places where you can sort of escalate that, like be one step weirder, just be one step weirder, fast tracks making friends in the last 2 years. Which is when I did the whole burnout thing, maybe more like 3 years, did the whole burnout thing, completely revamped my business, completely changed the structure of it, decided to stop trying. Knitting is one of those fields. Knitting is one of those fields where there's kind of this push to be very nice and very polite, and don't be too political, and don't be too loud, and don't be too rude. You have to be nice. Don't you understand that we're a bunch of nice ladies? You have to be. I'm like, oh my God, fuck nice.
That seems like a good way to make some Nazis.
You're right. You are in fact correct.
You are in fact correct. And so instead, I'm like, actually, this guy's a fascist. Abortion is good. The Gestapo is bad. Immigrants are lovely. Stop being a Nazi, okay?
Yeah,
And
it's very
Portland
odd that
is
we live
not
in
a war zone.
no,
we live in a very odd time in which the phrase Gestapo is bad is controversial somehow. I don't understand how we went from the 1940s and punching Hitler in the face to saying this bad.
Oh, I mean, I understand, and I can give you the lecture on it. It's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago, I just said, to hell with all that. I am either leaving this field forever, or no, fuck that. I like it here. I'm gonna be me harder and out loud and in public. And one of two things is gonna happen. Either no one will like me and my business will fail, in which case, oh well, or enough people will like me more that it'll work out great. And that second thing is what happened. I didn't realize at the time that what I was doing was saying, I'm just going to be extremely autistic professionally I'm just going to do it. But that's actually what I was doing. And it worked. It worked so well. It worked so well, and it feels safe and held and seen and supported. And like I have a community through my work in a way that still amazes me, and that like I will get choked up about if I don't stop talking about it now.
I mean, if you want to get choked up, it's cool.
That's
your
what
whole
we call
self is
authentic.
welcome here.
Yeah.
Your whole self.
But just and it has been so lovely, because the number of people who reach out, because I talk about I had a product that came out the other day and had some little scissors in it. And I was sitting there going, okay, so I have feelings about scissors. There is something as good scissors versus bad scissors. If they don't make the good snick, snick, snick noise, bad scissors. If you can't like hold the thing and cut, bad scissors. Like, I assume a few of you, my dear audience members, may have feelings about scissors. Let me tell you what my feelings about these scissors are, so that you can make a judgment to decide if they want to come be your scissors too. And people are like, oh, I've never heard anybody talk about that the way my brain thinks about it. And I'm like, if your brain thinks about it that way, and again, if you find yourself often going, oh, your words sound like the words in my head, then hi friend, you might be autistic.
A bad pair of scissors makes me irrationally angry.
Yes, bad
like,
scissors will ruin a good
why
day.
Why does it not do the thing? It needs to do the thing. It's not doing the thing. Why? And then I have to get a different pair of scissors because they have betrayed me.
So over the last couple of years, I have started not just doing knitting patterns, but doing like other stuff too, like getting stuff made. I got some like little zip up pouches made, and you decide, hey, I want to do this thing. I want to put my logo on a thing, and you're like, oh, I mean, I could go to one of the websites that lets you print on demand, and it'll stick. And I'm like, or I could have opinions about every single little aspect of this, and I could go find a manufacturer that I can work with who will indulge me, who will humor me when I'm like, so the zipper. The zipper needs to be a little bit different. And oh, by the way, we need.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yes, it's a thing. All right, it's a thing, and just leaning into it, leaning all the way in, and being like, no, actually, I do have a feeling about this, and instead of pretending I don't, or instead of pretending that like normal is okay, normal is manageable, normal is good enough. No, I'm going to do it the very autistic way. I'm going to do it the way that actually makes me happy, because it turns out that the same kinds of things make a lot of us happy.
On that note, okay, so in our previous episode, we were talking with Becca Laurie Hector about what is quote unquote success and what does success look like? Because you could, in theory, save like $1 on not having the proper zipper, on not having the embroidery. A long time ago, a person that Erin and I have grown to dislike once called me on Halloween to say, hey, Matt, I think I know how you could be, quote unquote, more successful if you didn't speak out against ABA, if you didn't do this, if you were less yourself, you could be, quote unquote, more successful. And I was like, why don't you just bite my butthole? Because I'm not going to be doing any of that. I want to do the thing the way I want to do it. And if I have to do it that way, screw it all. So tell me why not saving $2 or I'm assuming like 87 cents realistically. What is your definition of successful on this, and why is having the good zipper and the good logo important for you as a human being?
It's the thing where I'm not going to put out a product that I don't love. I'm not going to write a pattern that I don't write a pattern that I wouldn't want to follow. I'm not gonna. It's the thing where like, no. If you're telling me to do something very specific, you better tell me why.
If you could just be mediocre, you could just churn them out and make lots of money. Why is mediocrity? Yeah, tell us about that.
It appeals. Okay, it appeals. This is a comment that every now and then, the occasional person who I will assume is well-meaning, because I am a kind and gracious person, and I will think the best of people, who I will assume is well-meaning, will come along and say, if you didn't say anything political, more people would like you, and you would be more successful. And I say, actually, one, fuck off.
Yes.
The more outspoken I am about my beliefs and my morals and my values, the more the people who do like me. Like, I would rather be intensely liked by a smaller subset of people than like palatably tolerated by a larger group of people. I get the same thing. My patterns tend to be more expensive than most. They're like $10, which again, I'm sorry, you're going to spend what, 10, 15, 20 hours with that thing? Yeah, $10, big deal. Every now and then somebody will go, if you sold them for $3, you'd probably sell lots more. And one, two things. No. I have 15 years of data to demonstrate that is incorrect. And two, I value my work, and I expect other people to do it too.
Okay, so this
Matt,
is
you and I have been having this conversation a long
time.
For
many years, yes. Because if you come to terms with the fact that your work has value and that you value your work, then you will attract other people that also value your work, instead of people who say, yes, you were just out there. Could it be free? Could it be? Because I'm just looking for anything.
And by having the things that I sell be a little bit more expensive, I have enough time to make things that are free. I make a tremendous amount of content that is out there for free, that like people can go, and people tell me like, hey, there are brief digression.
We do that. That's how we speak.
Yeah.
This
brief digression. We're pinning
topic.
Coming back to educational content.
Yes.
There are ways, when you knit, sometimes you make lines that lean off to the left or lines that lean off to the right. And the standard abbreviations for these are things like K2TOG or SSK or P2TOGTBL. And I'm like, what the actual snotting hell? This is, excuse me, no. And so I will say, this is a left-leaning knit decrease, or this is a right-leaning knit. Like, we're going to actually describe the thing. And some people find this controversial. They're like, how dare you? I have memorized the weird and obscure acronyms. And I'm like, yeah.
That's a little bit of gatekeeping, isn't it?
Been knitting for 20-ish years now, and I have to go look up what the hell some of those mean. I'm like, I'm going to just actually describe what we do. And so people get mad about this, but what I have more and more and more and more and more, and this is again with the like make people really like you, is they're like, oh, you fixed it in my brain. Now when I work from somebody else's patterns, I get your stitch definitions. I'm like, thank you. You're welcome. But so
Nice.
like, I like the thing where I can, because I charge enough for my labor that I don't have to be rushing and crashing to put something out every week. No, we're not doing that, which means I have the time to be like, hi, let's learn something. Let's talk about something. Let me show you something. And that thing where when an autistic person, going back to the process complexity, when an autistic person has gone, here's how you do it.
I'm not going to lie, that just got me excited.
I've considered this at some length. I have checked a variety of different ways to do that. Here are my recommendations for the 3 best ways to do this, why you might like one over the other. If you will sit still and listen to me for 5 minutes, I will explain it to you. It will make sense in your head for the rest of your life. Again, you're welcome. But you only have the time to do that. You only have the space to do that. You only have the capacity to do that in our capitalistic hellscape if you charge appropriately for your time. So like, I am sure that both of you lovely, highly educated, people who might even have student loans somewhere floating in your backgrounds, probably charge for your time, right? Yay. And by doing that, you get to do things like make this podcast, which actually helps more people. Then like, I assure you, more people are going to hear this podcast than you have time to see individually in your schedules. And so,
also true.
Like you just, you're allowed to value your work. You're allowed to value your expertise. You're allowed to say, hey, I'm good at this. And I'm good at this because I'm autistic. I'm good at this because I have thought enough about how I think, which again, I don't think is something that all of the neurotypicals do. But every autistic person I know has spent some serious time, every autistic person who knows they're autistic and has come to terms with it, spends some time thinking about how they think. And once you do that, all of a sudden, everything makes a lot more sense and everything feels a lot easier.
This came up, aside from doing the podcast, this podcast that you are listening to at this very moment, we also have a Facebook group and a Discord server called Autistic Connections. And one time somebody was in there saying, why don't more autistic practitioners take insurance? Why is it so expensive for this? And I had to say, well, there's less than 100 of us across the entire country that do these autism evaluations, and we're autistic. There are not a lot of autistic practitioners out there, and we burn out a lot. And I am one of exactly 2 people practicing in the state right now, and I'm pretty sure that the other person is hitting burnout as we speak. So by the time this airs, I may be the only one left. But this is one of the reasons why it's hard to find people, because we are disabled just like you. If you want autistic advice from autistic people, you have to take these things into account, because you can go, it's like, if you want a really nice steak, you have to go to a place that specializes in steak. You could go to McDonald's and get a very cheap cheeseburger, but it's not going to be a steak. You can get mass-produced stuff.
It will be very consistent, though.
It will be.
And there's value in that.
Yes.
There is value in that. To a wide audience.
Yes.
And beloved by relatively few.
Yeah. And this is a big thing about us, because if you want a specialized thing, you have to take into account the expertise that goes into that, because yeah, there's lots of people that take insurance and can do autism evaluations, but they might come out and say, well, you made eye contact, so you can't possibly be autistic. Or
The number of times we've heard that is just ridiculous.
yeah, that's why I do a second opinion consultation, which again takes money. And someone recently got mad at me for saying that it takes money to do that, because I'm autistic, and they said that I should just read the prior. Oh, no, they wouldn't even give me their prior report, because they just wanted to meet with me on Zoom for free and for me to diagnose them autistic, and I'm not going to do that. So,
No.
yeah, that's not how we do things.
I don't think we have the same, like, yeah, sure, everybody has the same number of hours in the day, but here's the thing. I have fewer hours that I can actually work in a day than somebody who is not disabled. And it hurts my little soul to say, oh no, this is a disability, because like there's still the feeling in me where like, oh, don't admit it. Oh, don't say that. Oh, don't say that. That's a bad. I'm like, oh no, that's a factually accurate statement about how my brain works, about how my body works, about the capacity that I have. Now, when I am well supported and well regulated, I can do really cool things.
Because autism is a dynamic disability.
That's right.
And sometimes I forget to eat. And sometimes I realize, oh, I don't think I really need to pee, because I have been hyper-focused on this for the last 8 hours, and I'm going to go take care of that right now. And I'm like, okay, you know what? If you are not disabled, you don't forget to eat. You don't get so hyperfixated on something that you neglect your basic biological functions. You don't sink into a funk for 3 days because somebody said something mean and shit. Like, no. So,
And Erin just introduced me to the term disableism. What is that? Disable?
Ableism and disableism.
Disableism.
Say more.
Because again, if I can show up and do a job and wear pants at the same time, I could still be disabled.
Yes.
Which is a thing.
Yes.
Yes. And so, like, I mean, first of all, capitalism is bullshit, and none of us should be working 40-hour weeks, because that is wildly unnecessary. But I'm sorry, my fellow autistic friends, to the extent that you are able to, because again, we are enmeshed in systems of oppression, to the extent that you are able to, give yourself the space and give yourself the time, and be kind with yourself, because I truly believe, and I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in my friends' lives, and when autistic people have the time and have their support needs met and are able to find various ways to regulate themselves, which again, the happy little hand toys help us regulate ourselves. We can do more in 10, 15, 20 hours a week than a lot of neurotypicals can do in 40 or 50 hours a week. But if you are trying to do your best for 40 or 50 hours a week, you're going to suck, and you're going to burn out, and you're going to die. So give yourself that time and give yourself that space. And I know it's hard. I understand that saying it is so much easier than doing it, but I completely changed my business and my life to work for me. And it was one of the best choices I ever made. And I am still seeing the compounding benefits of that over time. So yeah, I feel you if you are headed into burnout or right there. And it gets better. Stop caring so much
and
about.
This is a big reason why knitting is important, because we live in a world that tells us to hustle nonstop. And if we are not hustling, we are falling behind, and it's assorted nonsense. Why is some nonsense, tiny or otherwise, essential to our well-being, instead of just working 28 hours a day? Why must we take time to do these nonsensical things to enrich our lives?
I think autistic people have a kind of joy that allistic people don't have available to them. And I mean, I don't know, maybe that's controversial, maybe that's mean to the normies out there, but
that's actually on my wheel, I think, about the autistic joy, because we need that autistic joy.
The amount of joy that these silly little knitted acorns, I'm like, no, these are sitting in a bowl on my desk for a reason, and it's because every time I see them, they make me grin. And I mean, I'm sorry. Like, does anybody in this entire world need a knitted apple or a knitted piece of notebook paper or a little knitted no, nobody needs it. But
I showed you the picture that from my son's room where you set the clocks, and that was actually the thing that inspired. He's currently into making clocks nonstop
Nice.
because with your clocks, he was able to look on the back and see that there's a mechanism.
Yeah.
And I explained that's the mechanism on the clock, and you put the hands on the clock, and he's like, "This is a rainbow clock, and this is a dragon clock." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
Nice.
yeah, this is neat." And he was like, "Make a clock," and I was like, "Well, you can't make a clock because you're still a little kid. When you get to be a big kid, you get to make a clock." Because at the time, I was like, I don't know if we could do that because you're still a little kid. And I was like, I arbitrarily said, when you're 10 years old, you can make a clock. He did not forget that. And every time we went out,
oh my
he would say, when you're 10 years old, you can make a clock. And I was like,
Parents,
you
be
can.
warned. Your
And
words
he
will
said,
come haunt
on
you.
December 5th, I will make a clock. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, that's coming up. And he's like, make a clock on November 1st, make a clock on December 31st, make a clock tomorrow. And I was like, are you a big kid? He says, I'm a big kid, make a clock. So now he's in hardcore clock mode. And your clocks inspired that.
I'm gonna
And
make that worse. I'm gonna make that.
that is-
I'm gonna make that worse.
There's clocks, there's watches. He can knit them, draw them.
Because no autistic person has ever been drawn to tiny, intricate gears before.
Right.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't like looking at little moving things and figuring out how the pieces go. Not us.
Yeah.
No.
And that's the thing, because I need to record the story of the Halloween dragon, but I also came up with the story of the time dragon, because this is about, we are fastidious timekeepers and schedule keepers. And this is a whole Alice in Wonderland White Rabbit sort of thing, because we need to know when things happen and how things happen and what to expect, when to expect it, all of these things. And it ties all into this. And this is why we can appreciate things on levels that other people cannot, because of this intricacy. We are very much bottom up, detail oriented people that can love things in a much more intensive way than the majority of people.
Yes.
Which is why when you get into the nitty gritty and the details and explaining why you're doing the things and making these teeny tiny acorns, they can bring some people far, far, far more joy than a generic scarf pattern for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, if yes, you can go to Walmart and buy a hat. I don't think it's the same as, hello, friend, I have knit you a hat.
Yes.
I have knit you a hat that takes into account your head size. And I don't know, do you feel like the normal hats press on your ears a little too much? Do you want a little extra space for your ears? What color do you like? What texture do you like? How do you feel about wool? Because not all of us like wool. Some like, maybe you like the soft, maybe you like cashmere, maybe you like silk, maybe you like alpaca, maybe you like okay, now colors. Was that like a bluey kind of green, or was that a yellowy kind? What are your feeling like? It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Right. Do you want it to be a large gauge or small gauge knit?
Right.
Because that's the other thing. Like, I'm actually, once I'm done with this sweater, with this shawl, the next thing I'm going to knit is a hat for my husband. And, he's somebody who runs on the warm side, but he still likes to have head coverings. It's like, okay, so we're going to make it the color you want. It's going to be a thin enough gauge of thickness for those of you who don't knit, thin enough thickness for it to be warm but not hot. Right. I'm going to use a small enough set of needles so that it doesn't have huge gaping holes in it. Right. And it's going to be made out of cashmere, because A, I love my husband, and B,
it's nice to work with.
B, it's fun to work with, and C, it's not itchy.
No.
And even though he's not autistic, he has itchy sensory skin stuff. So like, All right, I can work with all of that, and this hat pattern, this hat for him, will now be exactly what he needs.
Yes, you.
And
And
because
every
I
you
don't
time he
hate my
wears
husband,
it,
You look at my patterns. If there's any of them you want, you let me know. I will
Okay.
facilitate this hat production.
excellent. Okay, I'll do
because I
that.
don't hate my husband, I will do it with materials that I find enjoyable rather than nails.
Right.
And
And so
yeah,
fine, maybe that
Right.
means that you have a couple of hats instead of 15 hats, but I would rather have 2 hats that are fantastic, that work really well for me, than 15 hats, most
Exactly.
of which are mostly tolerable.
it's as though this is a metaphor for the autistic experience itself, because having a person that really, really bonds with you and understands you on a great many levels is better than having 20 people who don't understand you at all, but that they don't throw nails at you.
Yes, be
Right.
your authentic weirdo self.
That's right.
More people will be like, thank you, no, but enough people will be like, oh my god, yes. And just I will take 5 people who are like, oh my god, yes, over 100 people who are like, yeah, okay. It's better. It's better.
Right.
It's better. It's better. It's better. It's better.
So
And also, I just want to acknowledge the reality of, like, we live in a time and place in the United States
yeah,
where you might also have to pick and choose where you're being your full
Yes.
authentic self.
Yeah.
Because the danger out there is real.
It is.
And so, because we love all of our listeners, we want you to be safe.
Yeah.
And,
And
and,
so-
and if you are more unmasked in more of your private life, it is, at least for me, more tolerable
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
masked when I have to. If I go
Yeah.
to the,
Yes.
if I have to go pay a parking ticket, I will
Mhm.
put on my normal person clothes, and I will
Right.
I will go and try and be a neurotypical to the best of my ability, and I'm pretty good at it. I passed for a long time. And the fact that I know that is the way I behave for a half an hour when I want to accomplish a specific task makes
Mhm.
behaving that way for that half hour so much less harmful than when I am trying to do it 24/7, even with my friends, even in my own home, even with my family, even with people who are supposed to be on my team.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, do what you got to do to be safe, because again,
Yes.
your goal here is to survive. But even if it's all by yourself at home alone in your bedroom with the lights off, find a few little places to start practicing being yourself.
Yeah.
I promise it's better. I promise it's better. I promise it's better. And it can be really great. It can be really great.
And if somebody wanted to find you and join your community, where can they do that at?
TinyNonsense.com. I am
TinyNonsense.com.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. Do a lot of stuff over on Patreon. Do a lot of stuff over on Instagram. If you're a knitter, Ravelry, very easy to find. Yeah.
And you'll have to come back and join us, especially when you come up with more projects and as the world continues to fall deeper into chaos. We would love to have you back.
Clock face for Emmett. We're
Oh my! Oh, he would love that.
I'm gonna send you and y'all are gonna put the clock hands on it and some numbers, and we're gonna do a thing.
Oh.
We're gonna do a thing.
Oh, he's
Nice.
He will legit love that, because
We're gonna
man,
do a thing.
this is his jam.
We'll have that. We'll have that in time for his birthday. We can make that happen.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, it's been great talking to you as always. Come back and join us again.
Yes.
And
yes.
come back and join us next week for another episode of the Autistic Voice Project. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.